Hello everyone, my name is Elle and I am an absolute sucker for product names. Yes, I am talking about the individual shade names given to certain makeup products. If it's a name that I relate to, that fits my aesthetic, I need it, I want it, I have to have it. Oftentimes, regardless or in spite of the actual shade itself. Why am I like this? Nobody is going to know unless I tell them. Is it the thrill of having a product named after something I like or relate to? Is it sentimental or is it silly? Now, I'm not talking about collaborations where there are products directly related to the thing in question, but completely random products. I saw a product the other day named something like Gypsy Moon Dream, and I must have added it to my cart like 16 times. I just was like, I'm gonna buy this. No, not gonna buy this. Yes, I want it. Throw in words like gypsy, moon, dream, fairy, chiffon, magical, mystical things. I'm hooked. I'm hooked. It's all I see. I don't see the shade of the product. I see the name and I think I have to have that. And I can talk myself out of a product just as easily if it's a name that I don't like. Yeah, it's frustrating, especially when the product is something that I think would really work well for me. It might fit a gap or be something that I'm looking for, but I can't see past the name. I'm also the kind of person that can make weird connections to things, good or bad, intentional or unintentional. Like I was thinking about Kat Von D liquid lipstick names the other day, for example, because I looked at one that I have, Wolf, which I bought specifically for the name. I wear weird makeup and I do like gray lipstick, but I wanted Wolf because Virginia Woolf. I didn't want it because of the lipstick itself. If the lipstick had been any other color, I still would have wanted it. And I look at some of the Kat Von D liquid lipsticks and some of them, like I get really drawn to, like Ophelia because Shakespeare. And Bow and Arrow makes me think of the Hunger Games, which is one of my favorite series. Like I love the books so much. I've read them over and over again. Bow and Arrow, I think Katniss, I think Hunger Games, I think I want that lipstick. Now, I really like the shade Sanctuary. I can't even, it's like I know the intention behind the name, but to me, whenever I hear the word sanctuary, I think of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. I'm like, sanctuary! And I just laugh because it's not funny, but to me it's funny because it's always been used in like a joke kind of way. And so I couldn't wear that lipstick because if anybody ever asked me what I was wearing, I'd have to say sanctuary and I would always laugh. And it's such a silly, stupid reason to not buy a lipstick. While it's also a silly, stupid reason to buy a lipstick just for the name if I wasn't going to use it. I was reading an article the other day in an academic journal. Yes, I do work in a library, and this was a day when our systems weren't working that well, so I was browsing through some of the databases and I was looking for makeup articles, and I found an article called Truly Toffee and Raisin Hell, a textual analysis of lipstick names. Yes, I read the whole thing. There was some scientific data there. It was a very good read, actually, and I wish there was more of it, and I wish there was something more up to date because this is an article from 2007. I will have information linked down below, of course. Anyway, there's this connection between the brand and the name of the lipstick. And the article was talking about how the brand wants you to evoke memories and certain associations that will encourage you to purchase the product. Some of them are covertly sexual and meant to be empowering. So when you put on that red lipstick, you will feel as fiery and as feisty as the name would suggest. Oftentimes, there's an association with sweet and feminine because makeup is supposed to be sweet and feminine. So there would be flowers, roses, and peony and orchid. And there would be seasons, references to spring and autumn, and also things like sunshine and snowflakes and ice. And there would be cities, products named after cities that one would aspire to travel to. So things like Los Angeles, LA, New York City, NYC, Miami. Not really places like Nashua or Moose Jaw, although a lipstick named Moose Jaw. I could get behind that. Now, this article also strongly suggests that there's a really deep correlation between product names, specifically in this case lipstick names, and food products, because there's this idea that there are foods that are off limit to women, and food that are decadent, and food that you're not supposed to indulge in. But instead of indulging in the food item, you would indulge in the lipstick purchase, which is really interesting. I looked at the data, and at that time it was very overwhelmingly in that favor. I think they looked at close to 2,000 lipstick names, and close to like 50% of them were food names. And I think you do see that still, but I do think there has been quite a bit that has changed over the last 11 years or so. I don't necessarily think there's as much off limit, more things that are more empowering now. When I see new products being released, I see more trendy names, I see more empowering names. You see things like Boss instead of things like Pink Truffle or like Cherry Cheesecake or whatever. You don't see references to that. I mean, you still see stuff like Peaches, Chocolate, Peanut Butter, Jelly Donut, Banana Pudding. That's just Too Faced though. But you would definitely have brands like Revlon, Estee Lauder, Laura Mercier that had the sweetly feminine sort of images with their lipstick names, stuff like Decadent and like the previously mentioned Pink Truffle, and as they have stuff like Impassioned. And then you have on the flip side something like Urban Decay with lipstick names like Smog, Asphyxia, Roach, Oil Slick. Definitely a different feeling and impression that you get in comparison to some of those lighter, more delicate sounding names. I mean, back to Kat Von D, lipsticks named Crucifix, Exorcism, Damned. Those are going to appeal to a very specific demographic. You are going to have an idea of what those products look like without ever seeing them. And just like with suggestive names, some people, it's part of who they are and how they carry themselves, and they will proudly talk about the orgasm on their face, while some people would definitely shy away from products with those kind of cringy suggestive names. I mean, some of them aren't bad, some of them are pretty tame and are not things that people should be embarrassed talking about, but Deep Throat, come on, NARS. I know it's kind of old news at this point, but some of those really sexualized names are things that can make people uncomfortable and blush naturally. Some brands can straddle aesthetics. So even a brand like NARS, where you have those really suggestive sexual blush names, they also have a line of lipsticks named after women, and it's very tame to buy a lipstick named Audrey or Liv, which I actually have. And you have those very classic names. You have names of actresses. Again, something to be aware of. I definitely bought Liv because of the name, because I knew it was named after Liv Tyler. That's why I have other lipsticks from that line that I want to buy, because I relate to the name so much. And because I'm like, oh, I want this product because it makes me think of so-and-so. And I get sucked into that bad. This is me trying to remind myself here. It's why I was doing research on sort of some of the marketing stuff and some of the strategies that these brands use. But really, what you wear sends a message to people, not just your makeup. If you choose to wear makeup, and I'm assuming most of the people watching, if not everybody watching, because this is a makeup related video, wears makeup by choice. Some people choose not to wear makeup, but the way you present yourself says a lot to people. And if you choose to wear makeup, that is going to send a message to people. Even if the people can't see the exact product name of what you're wearing, it probably influences them a little bit as much as it influences you. Like, red lipstick is going to tell somebody something about you right from the get-go. And someone is going to form a strong opinion of you if the first time they meet you is when you're wearing black lipstick or a lip gloss. People look at people on the surface and they can be judged pretty harshly for things like that. You know, you probably don't even realize that you're doing it sometimes. When you see somebody, you're making all these judgments based on what they look like. And of course, everybody knows that this happens, but makeup can be empowering. I feel like people choose products that empower them and relate to them. You are going to wear probably different makeup to a business meeting, to a presentation, than you would going out on a date. There are different scenarios and situations why you would use different products. Now, for me, the problem lies when the product doesn't match your taste. As much as you may wish that it did fit you, if it doesn't, that's where I have to advise caution. It's one thing to have a product and wear it and love it, and another one entirely to have it just sit on your shelf. Now, if the product just makes you happy to look at, and you love looking at it, and you love swatching it, and you play with it and wear it at home just for you, then fantastic. I'm not trying to talk you out of not buying things that you want and things that make you happy. I just want people to be a little bit aware of some of the tricks that go on, some of the things that I fall for, and the things that I wish that I knew more of before I made some bad mistakes, before I wasted money on things that I probably shouldn't have. You know, would you keep a product long after it expires just because it was named after your favorite bird or favorite film or whatever it may be? Again, I'm not talking about collabs, I'm not talking about special packaging, but just a generic tube of lipstick or pan of eyeshadow. What if you look at products without knowing their names? Does that change anything for you? Are you drawn to things differently? Sometimes it's hard because they're so intertwined, and when you look at them, the product name is right there. But if you can separate it, does it make a difference? What if you receive a product and the wrong label is on it? It's still the thing you wanted, but just the label is wrong. Or what if the label wears away or falls off? Is the product less special then because it doesn't have this name on the package? I just think being aware is so important. So then you can decide for yourself instead of subconsciously being sold products that you probably don't need and you probably won't use. I mean, why waste your money on something that you aren't going to use? Something that you realistically don't need, when you could have something else that would work for you. When it comes to the thing of names, it can be for very sentimental, personal reasons. Sometimes it's silly, fun names, sometimes it's just an expression, or sometimes it relates strongly to something that you're passionate about. But is there another way to display that love? If it's a name of a person that you're fond of, is there another way that you can show that? If it's a TV show or a movie or something you love, what about getting a t-shirt or a pin or a keychain or just something that's a little bit more permanent and something you can really show off and be like, yes, I'm a fan of this thing. Yes, you know, you guys can see this. Yes, I am today wearing a shirt with Elton John's face on it. You know, I don't need a lipstick called Elton. I can wear my Elton John shirt proudly and tell everybody that I'm a fan of Elton John. If I wear a lipstick, should it exist? Does it exist? Why am I curious? Told you I have a problem. Certain things, like I have a glitter named Cher that I love glitter, but I also just wanted it because it was named Cher. Totally didn't need it for that reason. But, you know, it's one of those things just to be aware of. I'd much rather wear my Cher shirts, one of many, and that really shows people my love of something that the glitter would not necessarily tell them. I mean, it might, but not necessarily. Anyway, I'm going to get better at this, truly. I am trying. I have to remind myself constantly of all these tricks and things that I fall for like immediately, and then I have to take some steps back and just look at the full picture instead of zooming in on those little details. It can be hard. It can be hard to constantly be aware and constantly be challenging things like that because it works for a reason. So anyway, I hope this was interesting and potentially helped people. Just like my makeup FOMO video, this is a very similar topic. So I just really love sharing the things that I learn along the way, and maybe if I can stop one person from making a unnecessary purchase, it's time well spent. So thank you so much for watching and spending some time with me today, and I hope we get a chance to chat soon. Bye for now.